Yo, Twitter was wild last night because before, you know how it is. You get in bed saying, I'm going to bed. Next thing you know, 45 minutes to an hour later, you're mindlessly scrolling on whatever app you're on. And I saw several people talk about Miss Lisa. And I've already talked about this subject, the fact that, like Miss Lisa refuses to allow Karen to grow by preventing her from seeing her own flaws, or when she has these moments of realization as, oh no, I'm a terrible person. Oh honey, no you're not. And I'm like, come on, because in this most recent episode it's like, hey, am I experiencing karma for the way I talk down to people and judge people? And someone in the comments of the video said, no, it's not karma. And they went into detail about how it's just like her poor decision making. And I wholeheartedly agree. I believe I talked about that in one of the videos about how, yeah, she was the one who chose to have unprotected sex with two men within a very tight a window of time. I mean, I can't remember the exact details, but didn't she have sex with Aaron barely, I don't know, 48 hours after Zach? Because if I remember my order of operations, her and Zach got it on in the salon office. Aaron overheard and barged in. Then he showed up to Karen's apartment, I believe later that same night, and he was drunk. And it was funny because this man took his pants off and everything because, and please bear with me, I hope I got my details right. Just, we're talking like maybe 2020 here, so I could be wrong about this, but wasn't Aaron in season 2, dating between him and Karen was going great. This woman was changing for the better. The way she carried herself, the way she acted, the way she talked to people. All of her girls like, you're glowing, and not in a pregnancy kind of way, but it's like you're glowing with, like, you're beaming of positivity and happiness. And if memory serves, I don't even think she was drinking during that time, because she was living that past her life. I mean, Aaron's whole thing was, hey, no sex till marriage. And she was what, I believe the correct term is abstinent. Yeah, she was living the Bible way, no sex until marriage. She wasn't drinking. She was talking kinder to people. If you want to see Karen at her best, it was during that portion of season 2. Until things shifted with the whole, hey, you stole my credit card. And then, yeah, that was the downfall. But season 2 was arguably the best iteration of Karen, because she looked even better as a character, because Andy was just falling further and further from grace. And it was just ridiculous to see. But in any case, yeah, Aaron had walked in, then left, and then he shows up to her apartment drunk. And this man, I remember Karen let him in, and obviously she had been satisfied from Zach, so hey, she didn't really want Aaron in that moment, because remember, I think that Aaron actually said, maybe tonight is the night, because I remember like, hey, I've been thinking, because he came over to the salon earlier to talk to Karen, and he mentioned how, let's have dinner at your place tonight, and then maybe afterwards, because I guess he had been praying and like considering the whole, maybe I can bend my, rules and have sex with you despite us not being married. So tonight was going to be the night seemingly between them. And I guess because she was so pent up, that's why her and Zach were able to just, hey, get it on as easy as they did. Zach, he was like emotionally wrecked because he couldn't believe that Karen would assume he would steal from her. And then, obviously he kissed her first, and then they got it on. Then Aaron walked in later that night. He shows it to the apartment drunk. And this was the beginning of Aaron doing whatever he could to prove he was the better man than Zach. So when I remember this was pathetic but funny. When he dropped his pants, Karen turned, because Karen was in her robe and everything. She was ready, go to bed. And then, that's when Aaron showed up. She went into the kitchen or something, and then she turned around, and then Aaron, pants off and everything, just like, hey. And I'll never forget Karen's like, put your pants back on. Let me make you some coffee. Can you imagine that? It's like you walk in on your girl, getting it on with her ex. And if I remember, somebody memed it like, like a black Barbie or a Bratz doll with nappy hair. That's how Karen looked. And it was so hilarious how she was literally sitting there getting chastised by Aaron, and rightfully so. And then he's like, fine, you know what? I'll go now. And that was also the beginning of Aaron saying, I'll give you the space you need or whatever. But then he'll just constantly step on, that line that he drew in the sand. It's like, hey, I want to give you space, but I want to show up all the time. I want to send you flowers all the time. And it's like, wait, what? So then I believe we got to the whole Andy marriage thing. Yeah, it was a couple of days. So it wasn't that long between when she had sex with Zach and then with Aaron. But more to the point of Miss Lisa, I remember one person on Twitter went off saying that, Miss Lisa, you need to stop lying to your daughter. These babies are not a gift from God. And I mean, that's true. It's kind of like the whole thing about the devil made me do it. And it's like, no, you just made a dumbass decision. Don't put Satan's bad name in this. He had nothing to do with you choosing to do this, that choice versus this choice. I mean, you could say it's a gift from God all you want, but in reality, these babies are just a result of Karen's poor decision making. And the fact that Miss Lisa didn't even say anything makes her look bad too. And a lot of people, did bring up, it's like, yeah, I can see where Karen gets it from because her mom's the same way. I mean, at the beginning of season 5, when Miss Lisa finally reappeared, this was in Karen was in the hospital after she was like bleeding in the salon, and she revealed that the whole situation was going to be awkward because I guess the dynamic between Karen and Zach is very similar to the same dynamic that Miss Lisa had with Karen's father, saying that, oh, he was a deadbeat and everything, and then we broke up. But then it pained me to see him get with another woman, and then that woman got the version of your father that I always wanted him to be. But eventually, hey, we grew out of it. Like, we're able to be cordial and come together for like the holidays and, do the best we could to raise you. So it's just one of those things where you would think Miss Lisa would try to do better for her daughter than what she went through when she was, younger and had a kid. I mean, if you go back to season 1, she had that talk with Zach, but it was really more about, and people rightfully corrected this for me in terms of my interpretation of it. Jeremy, when you really, I know what you think about the scene, but when you really think about it, Miss Lisa never once said that it was her daughter that needed to readjust for Zach. It was like Miss Lisa was trying to mold Zach into the man that Karen would be into, as opposed to addressing any of the toxic patterns of her daughter. And Miss Lisa said that, how many times have we had a conversation like this, Zach, which shows that over the course of their relationship, she would probably scold Zach all the time. And at the end of I agree, but at the end of the day, that Zach got love from Miss Lisa because she's a tough. It's hard to say fair because, like I said, you can't call out everyone except for your own daughter. That's the only thing. I think that she definitely was more of a free-spirited kind of parent as opposed to a helicopter parent. It's only when she gets a sense that a person is being fake, like the accountant, that she chimes in. But I think that somebody else mentioned that, well, you know what? I think that Karen definitely gets her controlling tendencies from her mom, because when you think about the men, or in this case the man, because we only saw the one dude, what's his name, Chris, in season 1, that's the only man we've seen her with. And it just shows that she isn't against going for younger men, and who you usually got their stuff together. but also, you know, a younger man indicates she probably wants someone that she can, quote unquote, keep in line for herself. So I look at Karen and her domineering personality, but also go back to how she acted when she was dating Aaron. She was submissive. And I'm thinking to myself, that's probably another reason why that changed her, because in her past, pre-Zach, she probably always dated these hoodlums and whatnot that she had to like whip into shape. You know, she had to lash out at them. But now she had a man, Aaron, who was a man in terms of he wasn't afraid to lead. He would, with love, put Karen in her place when needed. And I remember the first time that Karen was like, oh, I think that Karen said that she was going out with the girls or something. And Aaron's like, oh, okay, well, have fun. Do you need any money? And she was like, what? Yeah, do you need any money? Oh, no, I'm fine, but thank you. And that really took her off guard, because she was more so used to, you know, men that she had to shell out money to or never offered to cover the bill or something. So I just really feel that that's really telling of the men that she dealt with over the course of her life, even before Zach. So Miss Lisa acting like these children are a gift as opposed to a result of Karen's own poor decision making, because she wasn't raised well enough to like sleep around without using protection. That's just that's more telling of you than Karen when you really think about it. But I don't know. I think Miss Lisa just needs to get a reality check, because she isn't afraid to reveal the truth or tell people off or tell them about themselves. But when it comes to her daughter, she will always shield her from the truth, usually of her own toxic behavior. That's not to say Miss Lisa doesn't give good advice, but she gives good advice, but at the worst times or at bad times. Yeah, good advice, but at bad times. Like the whole letters thing, remember in season 5? That crap should have been done like, I don't know, mid season 2, early season 3 at the latest. Because by that point, there was literally no reason to have this whole feelings crap. I mean, pregnant or not, think about it. Let's say there was a person you dated, and then like 2 years later, that person has already moved on, and yet there's a sit down between you and that ex, and you're having a letter reading about all the feelings and everything. Nobody cares. It's like, look, we're over. You dumped me. I'm married with kids. I don't have time for this. Nobody cares. More often than not, you never get closure. So I just really feel like Miss Lisa needs to keep that same energy. Keep that same energy for your daughter that you project on everybody else. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.